I was talking about QANX and I was saying it's kind of following Bitcoin. The problem with last week's update, and I kind of, the clue was in the title. And so if you're following me on YouTube, and you kind of have to read between the lines, don't you? You can't just say everything is bullish and just be bullish. Look at that. My title, what was it? Mainnet delay confirmed. I said it. Mainnet is confirmed. Security audit passed. Mainnet. No one told me it was confirmed, huh? I just deduced it from the language, because what they said was that the X-Link audit passed as expected by Hacken, but now they need to integrate it into the testnet in December. So if you're going to integrate the X-Link audit into the testnet, then you can't launch the mainnet in December, can you? Because you're not doing that. You're integrating the X-Link into the testnet, so it still has to be tested on the testnet. That was probably the last stage. And so while people are feeling, and some people sold obviously, and I'm not trying to get people to buy or sell necessarily. I'm not kind of giving any clues on the Quan platform, because I don't really know. Okay, I'm just looking at the charts. I'm just reading the same thing that everyone else is reading on X, and making deductions based on the language, based on the timings. All right, I still hold QANX, so obviously I want it to go up, not as much as I did before, but it's, you know, I just read the same as what everyone else is reading, and I'm just trying to see if they've posted anything else. No, it's just all QANX quantum computing stuff. It's nothing else interesting. Look, this is quantum computing. This is quantum, because there's nothing really pressing. It's nothing really. It's like bang, 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 urgent. We need to buy QANX. So nothing. I have to buy QANX now. And I guess what's happening is, you know, the market's getting a little bit impatient. This is impatience. Impatience is a clue to the strength of the market. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. So I think I've said that I think this whole thing is some kind of bizarre consolidation, the whole thing. It is possible that that was your wave one, and we were kind of doing WXY there, but it doesn't look like it now, does it? Because if that was your wave one, really the wave two should have the wave three should have happened by now, which it hasn't. And then the other clue is that, have we taken the low? I don't know. Let me just have a look. Yeah, we have. Look, you see that? We've taken the low. Bam. We've taken out that low. That invalidates this bullish impulsive move as a wave one. When you take out the low of what could be a wave one, you invalidate it. And effectively, the market is balanced out. It means all of the buyers have sold. There's more sellers than buyers now, because the price is actually put in a lower low. At this point, there's still more sellers than buyers. And that brings us to the next impulse, really, which is this one here, which is really far away. And arguably, you could say, well, what about this impulse? Well, maybe there was some impulsive moves here, whatever. But the reality, if that was an impulsive move, we should have had a wave 3 by now, and 5, whatever, and it's not looking like it likely. And so you can make kind of deductions about what could happen, and you have invalidations, and invalidations change the scenario. They changes your game plan effectively. Let me see where my EW thing is here. So yeah, I was thinking that should have really been the impulsive move there. You see that? And no, because we've taken the low, now we've taken out this low. This changes everything. That 5 waves has now been invalidated. You see that? And so actually what we're looking at here is this whole thing being a 2. I can delete all this now. Bam, bam, bam. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Locally, sometimes it works. Because sometimes you get false 5 waves. Sometimes you get these 5 waves, but you're not looking at a full structured impulse wave. It's just like an impulsive 5 waves of a corrective wave. But effectively what you're looking at, and maybe I shouldn't have deleted all that because the waves aren't necessarily bad. Let me just have a look at this. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Let me see. Let's get rid of that one. Let's just say that 2 is no longer there because we've invalidated that impulse. Let's say that impulsive was part of a corrective. Could you have like a 1? I don't know. I really don't know. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's taking too long. You clearly got an ABC type thing here. 1, 2, 3. You see, it does look like it. Look, it does look like 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 3 there. What's this one? 1, 2, 3. Like that. Could that be it? Now we don't care about what low we take because the whole thing is corrective. All right. And I can kind of mark this out differently now, can't I? This is all made up, so this is just future whatever. Let me just redo these. ABC. ABC. Let's do it here. A, B, C. Let's get rid of that one. ABC, ABC. A, I don't know where the B is, maybe there. C. How does that look? Shit, I don't know. Maybe. But what I'm really honing in on is this move here, to be honest with you. This one. Bam, bam, bam. That's what I'm really focused on. Let's go to a higher time frame. There to there to there. So we've lost the 618. You see that? The 618 was holding a support. There. Lost it. So whatever happens, we have to reclaim 2 cents. 2 cents is very important. So if you're kind of like thinking, should I buy now or should I wait? You could just wait until we reclaim 2 cents. That's a really important level, just because it's a 618 extension of some kind of corrective move here. See that? And you know it held the support until we lost it. We've lost it now. And the next kind of the one-to-one, oh shit, is taking us to 1.2 cents. So it doesn't always have to go down to the one-to-one. But that's the one-to-one. And effectively what you're looking at is this, like an ABCD type harmonic. Okay, that would complete a running flat. Huh? Is that a running flat? No, it's not running flat. What am I talking about? What is it? Let me have a look. Elliott wave corrective extended flat. That's it. Let me just search for it. See what it looks like. Extended or expanded flat in a bull market. Expanded. See that? But you know, generally speaking, the timing's a bit off, but let's just redo the timings. This last one has got 5 waves here, huh? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Maybe there are 5 waves. Maybe you get one more and then a final 5 down. So maybe this last, it's not an ABC, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To actually properly bottom out here. Who knows? Based on time pivots. February, yeah, mid-February. It basically coming, it'd be really weird, but it's coming all the way down here to fill this, whatever gap this was, it's coming all the way down to fill that gap. And so, like I thought, I didn't think this was irrelevant, this buyback. I didn't think that those candles, you can ignore those candles, because I think they're very relevant in the market, because it creates gaps. The market always tries to fill gaps. And so if it does come down, it will nicely fill that gap, and this whole structure becomes really nice, actually, because you have this first crazy expansion, you have this crazy consolidation for a massive gap fill. If you time it perfectly and it comes back down to February 9th, kind of the end of the first week, and you kind of land there at 1.2 cents, becomes a real opportunity, a real opportunity. If you get that kind of continued downward pressure, maybe this actually, I do think we have an up in Bitcoin this month. So I don't know how this plays out. Maybe it goes up and then drops, you know, then you get something like that for a crazy, and then you get the crazy pump. And so you do end up with 5 waves. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type thing. Yeah. Let me try and draw this time pivot another way. No, this is the best one. Yeah, who knows? Based on these higher time frames, I like to go to the weekly pivots, to be honest with you, because you just, it's so rough. It's such an estimation of time. 1. And actually, you see that C? It was actually there, wasn't it? That's the pivot low. That's the pivot high. Let's do it correctly. You see, this is, see, when you do on the weekly time frame, it's different, huh? Look, see that? Mid-December. Or, again, back in, so actually we kind of, it's either we pivot now, but yeah, it's a tricky one, because that ABCD is kind of like there to there to there to there. That would be a really nicely, yeah, you could get something like that. It's always possible. Let's have a look at just the ABCD time pivot. Yeah, well, the 1-to-1 would be mid-Jan, so somewhere towards the end of Jan, beginning of Feb would be preferable to put a pivot in this circumstance, especially knowing about the mainnet being delayed, or rather the testnet being improved or finalized. And naturally, the testnet being finalized or being the XLIC being integrated to the testnet, that has to be tested. They're not just gonna, hey, we put it in now, let's go live. They're gonna test it, aren't they? How long are they gonna test it? I don't know, maybe a month. So maybe the timings are more February. Maybe that's better, because you kind of want Bitcoin to be in a really strong position when you launch that mainnet, don't you? You don't want Bitcoin to be struggling when you launch the mainnet. You want Bitcoin to be like pumping and everyone is excited about crypto. And then you get one crazy wave 3 rally. Do we get a wave 3, wave 4, wave 5? It could be a short wave 4, wave 5. Who knows? No one really knows. But we're going to have to look at this. But what we're looking at now is a kind of like a massive higher time frame consolidation, accumulate, call it what you want. A little bit of volume coming in here on the selling. And look, do you see that? You've got the value area low. Let me come and go to the 3-day chart, even the daily chart. Let me get rid of these time pivots now. Let me expand the volume levels to bring in the last day. Let me get those two images now, that one image. You see the value area low is actually slightly higher at 1.4. And so while the one-to-one target would be 1.2, I honestly prefer this. I prefer the price to just take out. Where is that low? Just have a look at it. Definitely to take out that low. Get everyone really bearish. Let's do a fib extension. No. Nada. You've got the value area low coming in much higher than my kind of 1.2. Who knows? Who knows where the price is going to actually find support? There's lots of areas of possibility. And for safety, and this is safety, I think if people want to play it safe, a swing failure of that, so you're basically, a swing failure of that pivot is 1.6. Right now, I think a reclaim of 2 cents would be the first sign of strength. Like reclaiming there would be really important for buying. Yeah, like we're so close to it, you're not really gaining that much by waiting. Yeah, because the risk is now to the downside, isn't it? At the moment, it's to the downside. It's probably better to wait, and then you can start reaccumulating at 2 cents once we reclaim 2 cents. Waiting for whatever happens here to play out. Yeah, because the reality is you could go lower, and then if you go lower, you've got a nice juicy target, which is this level here, which is that would be 1.6, and that would be okay. That would be okay to kind of bottom out here somewhere between the 1.272 and the 1.414, and effectively you just want to take out that pivot low and go up, of missing the value area low. And so a lot of people will be looking for the value, saying, oh, I'm going to buy and wait for the value area. Hey, a lot of people are going to be going, I'm going to wait for 1.2, and you might be right or you might not be. And so you're just looking for areas of accumulation, aren't you? Now that we're kind of trying to make lower prices, now that it's struggling, what you want to see is you want to see some kind of, either what you want to see is you want to see some bullish consolidation here, lots of selling, and the price just can't go down. And then the confirmation would be a reclaim. So if it was just to go up tomorrow, you'd probably get more sell pressure. But if you kind of bottomed out here and then reclaimed it, yeah, you miss out these lower prices, but actually now you're buying into strength, which is kind of what you want to do. Otherwise, what you want to do is to bottom out slightly lower and taking out this low, and that would be ideal, to be honest with you. I think that would be my next big area of interest that 1.6 cent mark. And then if that just doesn't work, then you've got levels, lower levels. You've got this value area lows of 1.4 just above, and then you've got this 1-2, you've got this 1.618, and you've got this 1-to-1 of that ABCD. And the reality is we may not hit that 1-to-1. The reality is we may kind of just coming towards the end of Jan, beginning of Feb, bottom out somewhere. So timing is important too. And so you can trade it. If you're looking to trade it, wait for a sign of strength. We may get it. I mean, the thing is, like I'm saying, I'm feeling bearish just because we've lost that level, and it looks like we've lost that level there, doesn't it? It looks like it. But tomorrow you could get a nice move, and you get a nice green candle, and the price is now 5-6% higher. What do you do? Do you buy? You're like, yeah, well, it's going up. It's going up. That's the trouble with these kind of illiquid, low market cap tokens. The price moves like 5-6%, 10% easily. And it's hard to get bullish when the price does that. If you don't see continuation, or if you don't see a nice back test. Mark, hi. He says, hey, Amir, I love your technical analysis. I appreciate that, mate. Because QANX team seems to be playing their hand differently to most other teams releasing this project. Do you think all the TA could be invalid based on metrics? Which? Metrics which? Which what? TA is for fun here. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. When I've always said that it's entertainment value only. Part of the reason why I do TA on QANX is because it just gives everyone something to watch on a weekly basis. I can build my stream. I have some QANX, and I believe in quantum resistant future for a layer 1. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. It's just a fact. I do kind of give people a heads up on certain things, like the potential for downside, like I did that before. Here he goes. On metrics which are unaccounted for. So let me just read that again. Hey Amir, I love your TA because the QANX team seems to be playing their hand differently to most other teams releasing this project. Do you think that all the TA could be invalid based on metrics which are unaccounted for? What Mark means is this isn't playing out in a normal way that a regular TA could be applied when they finally launch and begin what will hopefully be a massive campaign. And you got more to say, huh? I'll wait for it this time. I won't interrupt you. I don't know why it double texts on my screen. Apologies for that. And apologies if the sound kind of muffles sometimes, because I like to put my hand on my chin. Yeah. Well, I'm just waiting for Mark to finish what he's saying. Shall I go and get a cup of tea? No. Come on, Mark. Probably because it's got a timer on you, isn't it? Let me make you an admin. And then you can just write as much as you want. All right, now you can spam. Go on, spam me. All right. I kind of understand what you're saying. If you write any more, I'll read it. TA is really good when you're trying to trade, when you have, oh, there you go. And we all know that they are onboarding many big clients, which will be in place at launch. Shouldn't see a huge spike in buying, which will invalidate all this prior TA list. So all right, so look, let's just be kind of realist. Look, Elliott waves is a tried and tested theory. I didn't create it. I didn't invent it. I didn't make it. It's tried and tested across multiple markets, equities, currencies, and crypto. Yeah. When you have an invalidation of a pivot low, it's invalidated. It's just the rules. You're just applying the rules. That's all you're doing. Yeah. So when I say that this pivot low has been taken? It just has. It has because we put in a lower low. And that was your impulsive 5 wave, assuming that was an ABC. If that was your first wave, we're looking for another wave 3. It'd be more bullish. The point is this. If we didn't take out that low, and I'll explain, yeah? If we didn't take out this pivot low, then this wave 1 is still valid. And then this next wave is the wave 3 of this first wave, which is a wave 1. And this whole thing, so you count differently. It just allows you to count differently, that's all. But when you invalidate that wave, then you know that wasn't the first wave. So that was some sort of corrective mid-market correction, or a bullish continue, like, and that, which kind of brings me to that image, which I've hidden now, this expanded flat idea. So it's then it kind of brings the whole thing into context. So it's about context when it comes to technical analysis. But the reality is, because we've taken out that pivot low, we are looking at an expanded flat and extended flat, rather than this being your wave 1, having a short ABC, and that being the first wave, and we're looking for a bigger wave 3, which means what it really means is that wave 3 hasn't started yet. Actually, in a sense, it helps, because if we didn't take out that low, if we just put in a higher low here, then we're in a wave 3. That was your wave 1, and this is going to be the wave 3 of 3. Okay. Whereas now, because we've had that first initial wave 1, if this whole thing is a big wave 2 correction, we haven't even begun the wave 3 yet. And so then it helps, because then the first impulse will be our wave 1, wherever it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say it's like that. That's your wave 1. Then you have an ABC correction, however long that takes. As long as you don't take out the pivot low, then you have a really massive wave 3. And so it gives people the ability to hold on for longer, expecting higher, by counting waves. Yeah, by counting waves. So a lot of people might have held on thinking that that was the wave 1, but the reality was that I've been talking about this being the wave 1 since at least a year now. Okay, so I always contemplated the idea of potentially taking out that low, and that's why I kind of created this crazy PA idea. Actually, I was hoping for a higher low, and actually you see now it's going lower. So I was hoping for a higher low because I was still thinking hopefully we can continue. But what's happened is the market is balanced, and because the market's balanced, it's just, there's just more sellers than buyers in this current market at the moment. It's just a fact. Yeah. And the market conditions aren't right for a higher low. So what we're looking at now is a potential extended flat based on something like that. And that gives us lower targets. Okay. Now, you're absolutely right. The team behind the scenes, they're doing things differently. They probably don't care about the market so much, because they're building a product which works. They're making partnerships which are real, and they're going for a massive mainnet launch whenever it comes. And the reality is, like I said last week, it's probably delayed. Yeah. And do you think they can launch, put the X-Link on testnet, test it, and then quickly rush to a mainnet? Probably not. Probably not. Probably they're going to go for a massive launch with all the big partners, because they want to pump this token to the moon, right? So that's why I said in the title, this is the dip of all dips, isn't it? Because for the first time, you're able to start accumulating QANX at 1.8 cents, and maybe even lower if we're lucky. And that's how I view it. I view this as, if we're lucky, we can actually get QANX for cheaper prices, because of the whole idea of what QANX is. It's a quantum resistance layer 1. It's an accumulation of a lifetime, and any impulsive move has to happen from the lows. That's one of the rules of Elliott waves. Impulsive move never happen mid-range or mid whatever. They always happen from a pivot low. So the fact that we're taking out all these lows and now this low, we could impulse from here. Yeah, it is possible. Yeah. But now that I'm seeing that we're taking out those, why wouldn't we take out this low? I'd like to see that low taken out now. I'd like to see that. Then to impulse. I'd like to see that. Yeah, maybe there's some big players waiting for lower prices, because at lower prices they've got 100, 200, 300 million dollars ready to pump into QANX at lower prices. Maybe you got these Qataris who are ready to buy up more at lower prices and defend this project at lower prices. Yeah. So there is a technical aspect to this. I think Bitcoin has a lot to do with the price, and we've seen significant weakness in Bitcoin, and that's having a detrimental effect on the whole altcoin market. I think we are going to see an alt season. I think it's probably going to happen at the beginning of next year, maybe starting end of Jan, Feb, or maybe we'll see a first pump in. I don't. Who knows? Like, no one really knows. No one really knows what's going to happen. But I think with a token like this, we're now starting to reach prices where people can actually start accumulating for 5-10 years. Yeah. So it's a great opportunity, isn't it? And you'd expect these Qataris who invested large sums of money to have more money on the side ready to invest, huh? You'd expect them to have more money to invest. And I think the team aren't under pressure because they've obviously got a large burn fund, and so they're just taking their time. They just want to do this right. They want to make sure that they knock this out of the park, and they're not too worried about the price. And until the mainnet launches, until the crypto markets go back to extreme greed and bullishness, then we're going to see a lot of altcoins struggle. And I guess with a lot of people who've got QANX, you can argue that all of this was speculative, and a lot of people took their profit in and sold, and they haven't bought back in, and they're just waiting for Bitcoin to stabilize and Bitcoin to show strength. And I think, like I said last week, this is largely to do with Bitcoin. The mainnet delays doesn't mean that this is a dead project, obviously. It just means that some people they saw what was happening, and they're probably going to look to buy back lower. So how much has it dropped in 7 days? Friday, yeah, that I did that stream, we're down 13%, huh? And we did get some buybacks, but put in a lower high, and now we're just trading lower. And that just shows you the liquidity of the market, doesn't it? I don't know. I mean, I think you make a good point. They're probably lining up all the players ready to do something big. I've sold some. I sold a little bit to buy another token to buy another token which was even lower, and which I think has more potential. See, it's all, in a sense, it's all gambling, isn't it? And it's like you're taking a risk, and you're hoping you don't go broke. I'll be looking to buy some if we hit much lower, huh? Some more. If we do hit like 12 cents or 1.2 or 1.4, we take out that pivot low, but I could buy some more. But it's a lot safer to wait for the volume to come. And so this is my point when it comes to Elliott waves. It's a lot safer if people just want to catch the big move, wait for the volume. The first wave could be God Almighty, and that's the thing that people don't realize. Yeah. So let me just hide all this shit. Get rid of this now. It's all relevant. The first wave is definitely going to be something to do with mainnet, isn't it? Whenever it happens. And you want it to happen from a pivot low. And because of the lack of liquidity and volume in this market, you could get wherever the low is, bam! That's your first wave. And then people are stuck if they're out of position, because if you get a wave one like that, just one candle, just one God candle like that, you end up having to buy in, if you're out of position, 300-400% higher. If you want to catch that wave, you get an ABC correction, and then you get the next wave, and then we're at all-time highs, basically. Oops, I can draw that straight, up at 20 cents. And so actually what I'm seeing is an opportunity. What I'm seeing these lows is an opportunity to accumulate more. And that's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm just looking for some kind of, like, I don't mind today's candle, to be honest with you. that looks okay to me. You could buy that candle today. Take out the lows, close higher than the previous day low. It's like a daily swing failure. It's like a swing failure of this low as well. You could buy that. Yeah, that's a buy signal for me. And the weekend you could get the price could go up. It could be up 15%, 13, 14%. Do you sell, or do you just keep on buying the buy signals? Does that make sense? Who knows? Everyone has to manage their own risk. But anyway, I mean, what I do is mostly for fun. Huh? Bring some spotlight to QANX. So I appreciate you're here, Mark. And I would ignore the TA. Just accumulate dollar cost average. Use a time weighted average price. You've got to Google those terms to understand them. And effectively what you're doing is you're increasing your QANX stack, and you're just holding it for a higher time frame, 5+ years. And what you want to do is you see these dips as opportunities. Some people do it on a red week, buy some every red week. Some people will do it every red month. Yeah, or some people would just wait for pivot lows. Every time a pivot low is taken, they just buy some more. So effectively, they're getting the best spot entries at the right places, and they're not too fussed about the time because of the higher time frame. They're focused on 5 years, and they're focused on the fundamentals, not on the technicals. And so you still need a strategy to invest, and the best way is to dollar cost average based on time or based on some other buy signal, which is take the lows or red candles. That's kind of not financial advice, but and actually, you know, it's a struggle here, because like if you're buying red let's just say hypothetically you're buying 3-month candles and they're red. How many red 3-month candles have we had? 1, you buy the close. 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've bought 5 times now. Let's say each time you bought $1,000, so you have $5,000 worth of QANX. Your average price is probably somewhere above the point of control. So you could have waited and get a much better buy, 35% cheaper than your average. But this strategy requires continued buying. So you have to, if we end up with a red 3-month candle, you have to buy again. You have to keep on buying those red candles. And you have to do it for the higher time frame, for the long term, because eventually what happens is you get the pump, you get the mass adoption, and this token is listed on every exchange as a quantum resistant layer 1. And that's when you have, that's your payday, isn't it? It doesn't work if you don't keep on follow through with the strategy that you have in place. Does that make sense? So if you dollar cost average for a week and then just leave it, it doesn't work. But if you have a long-term a 5-year strategy of dollar cost averaging in and a strategy to buy, then you're not worried about the technicals. You just have your buy signals. Okay. And that is the best approach. So the TA that I do really is just for fun. I hope that helps. All right. That's enough QANX for today.